Call of Duty has been all over the place over the last couple decades, and yes, the franchise is 2 decades old this year, which I know is hard for a lot of us that have been around for a long time to actually cope with. But with the series turning 20 in a few months, I thought it would be as good a time as ever to take an updated look at the age-old question: which COD multiplayer is the best? Now, in this video, I'm going to give you guys my picks for the 10 best COD multiplayers from worst to absolute best. I'm going to do my best to be as objective as possible. So, if you want to follow along and give your list of the 10 best multiplayers in the comments, drop a like, make sure you're subscribed, and we kick things off with Advanced Warfare. Now, I've complained about this game, but at the end of the day, I actually had fun. Sledgehammer basically took the skeleton of Black Ops 2 and they added jetpacks, and quite honestly, I was hooked on day one. Playing it today, yes, it's frustrating because, let's be real. The janky jetpack controls actually were pretty bad, but the core gameplay was good. The map design was consistent, even though there weren't very many top-tier maps, but there weren't really bad ones. It was a very consistent COD experience, and I can't tell you how many hours I put into it despite all my own criticisms. It was different. It was frustrating, but it was addicting, and the customization was another level. I know I'm probably going to get hate for putting it at number 10, but I just felt I needed to. At number 9, Warzone 1. Now, after Modern Warfare pushed me away from COD as much as it did, I was not expecting Warzone to grab me and pull me back in, but I loved Warzone 1 to the point I was playing it more than any other COD since Black Ops 3. The core gameplay at Modern Warfare perfectly fit into that Battle Royale skeleton, and the addition of crossplay meant I could finally play and stream with my COD buddies. Now, the game did lose me after all the crazy updates and overhauls, but the first 6 to 8 months of Warzone 1 was absolutely incredible, and it perfectly captured what made classic COD so fun. But it also captured what I love about early Fortnite and early Apex. If Warzone 2 can get back to this kind of simple fun, I would greatly appreciate it. But for now, Warzone 1 gets the number 9 spot on the list. Rest in peace, you absolute beautiful BR. Before we move on, guys, be sure to check out the new Chaos Call of Duty channel. We upload daily COD over there. News, updates, leaks, rumors, COD shorts, whatever it may be. Clips. If you have clips you want to send in, they could get featured on that channel. The link is at the top of the description. We're on our way to 10,000 subs. At number 8, World at War. And it's funny when I do these and I look back at the old versions of these I did, they completely change. And I guess it's just hindsight and age and how you look at it. Now, in previous videos, I've ranked World at War much higher, but looking back at it and comparing it to the other COD games, I think 8 is fair. Now, this is still a really good spot for a game to have, but when compared to other CODs, it was missing a few things. World at War remains one of my favorite World War II shooters of all time. The multiplayer is insanely nostalgic for me. The sound design was great, the maps are mostly good, and the war game mode was some of the most fun you could have in Call of Duty. I would love to see Classic 6v6 Warzone make a comeback because it was honestly one of the best things the game had to offer. It had a fantastic multiplayer. It was fun. It was held back by a few little things, slower pace, pretty basic customization, but come on. It released in 2008, so I'm not going to hold that against it. Great game. Story was amazing. Campaign was awesome. Just a lot of good memories. At number 7 today, Modern Warfare Remastered. This is going to get me in hot water, but I honestly think the game was excellent. The business model was horrible. The DLC practices were terrible, but the game itself was almost perfect, and I put way more time into Modern Warfare Remastered than most of the other PS4-era COD games. The core mechanics, perfectly updated. New graphics, sound, superb. Now, I know a lot of old-school COD 4 players hated it because of how differently it played from the original, but that was always going to be the case. The community has evolved since 2007, and MWR was a simple reflection of that. It had its issues, yes, but if I'm being totally honest, I think Modern Warfare Remastered was one of the best COD games to come out in the last decade. I do. It's a shame that the business model drove so many people away from it. This could have been a 5 to 10 year COD game if it was distributed in a more pro-consumer way, but Activision fumbled the ball there. Now it's almost completely dead, which kind of sucks. At number 6, COD Mobile. I'm still amazed that this game exists at all. It's basically a game that COD fans have been dreaming of for years before its launch in 2019. It's a greatest hits COD game, free-to-play model, constant updates, jam-packed with content, and to an old-school COD player like myself, I like it. I do wish it was available on more platforms than just mobile, but I get it. That's not probably going to happen. I'm still holding out hope. Maybe Activision does a Switch port or something because I would love to play with a real controller on a larger screen because the core gameplay, some of COD's best. Now, only if consoles and PCs would get something similar. Now we get into the top 5. This is going to be very opinionated. Modern Warfare 2, 2009. I tend to flip-flop on the game. I do, whenever I do these big ranking lists. Classic Modern Warfare 2 was complete and utter insanity, some of which was by design, other bits were just because it was such an ambitious project in 2009. Everything from COD 4 was cranked up to an insane degree. Final product was something you just had to be there for. When you look at Modern Warfare 2 on paper, and if you play it today, you quickly see the issues. It's much more about explosives, kill streaks, than it was actual gunfights, but that was the charm. How long of a streak could you go on? How big of a multi-kill could you get? How awesome of a trick shot could you land? And on top of that, there were some legitimately amazing maps and guns at your disposal. Classic Modern Warfare 2 may have been flawed, but it was an unforgettable experience that will always come up in the conversation of the best COD multiplayer, and for that, I have to give it the number 5 spot. I'm not excusing all its problems, but I have to acknowledge how many people absolutely adore it and the undeniable place it has in COD history. At number 4, Black Ops 3. This is probably the last COD multiplayer that I really grinded. It was the second jetpack game. Many people consider it the best. Treyarch, they nailed it. Probably wasn't their decision to make a game with jetpacks and wall running, but given the circumstances, they knocked it out of the ballpark. Has an almost identical skeleton to Black Ops 2, but then you have the fluid movement systems, the new specialist, added personality, added variety to the combat. The guns, they were memorable. They were pretty well balanced aside from the bretching. There was tons of content for 6v6 players. Despite being released in 2015, Black Ops 3 felt old school, especially when compared to other jetpack games like AW and IW. I put way more time into any other game or in this game than any other game from the PS4 era. It was great. It had a passionate community of players, and that should tell you something about the quality. At number 3 today, if you know me, you know this is actually my favorite Call of Duty, so the fact that I put it at number 3 should raise some red flags. Black Ops. I'm trying to be absolutely objective here, and if I take the nostalgia goggles off, which is hard, I can see that Black Ops 1 had some flaws. The gun balance was pretty bad. There was a lot of connection issues, far more than other COD games from this time period. But with that being said, it's one of the best multiplayer shooters I've ever booted up, and I still get nostalgic thinking about the good times I had. The sound design, the bright color scheme, the time to kill was lengthened from Modern Warfare 2 in order to make it more competitive. There was tons of awesome community-driven features, custom emblems, file sharing, the infamous wager match playlist. Black Ops 1 was pretty different from other Golden Age COD games, but I think that's why people loved it. The vibes were unmatched, and the map design is some of COD's best to this day. So why do I put it at number 3 if it's my favorite? Well, it all comes back to the theme of objectivity. And when looking at the franchise objectively, I think there's 2 other games that did it just a little bit better. Doesn't mean Black Ops 1 won't always be dear to my heart. At number 2, Modern Warfare 3. When it launched, it was widely hated by the community due to how similar it looked and felt to Modern Warfare 3, but that did not stop it from being the best-selling game in the franchise for a decade. In fact, Modern Warfare 3 is one of the most active and social entries in the entire franchise, despite how hated upon it was at release, and it certainly got better with time. Now, the gameplay skeleton was copy-pasted from Modern Warfare 2. The map design, time to kill, perk system, strike packages, those were all completely different, which made the game feel more balanced and sophisticated as a version of its predecessor. There was way more to do. The game still has the largest selection of launch weapons in franchise history. It's tied for having the most launch maps. There was dozens of new game modes, all which were populated fairly back in the day. And there was even a community tab rotating game modes so people could vote. Modern Warfare 3 may have had a ton of recycled Modern Warfare 2 assets, but the final product was an all-around improvement in my opinion. There's reasons why people are still playing it on the 7th gen console and through Plutonium right now. But speaking of 7th gen COD games, you already know what number 1 is. There's no shocker. It has to be Black Ops 2, right? It can't be a debate. I don't think there's ever going to be another game like Black Ops 2, to be honest with you. And the fact that it's still heavily populated on pretty much every platform should tell you something. It introduced us to staple COD features. Pick 10 system, overhauled camo system, score streaks, hardpoint, weapon, prestige, all of it. On top of that, the liberal use of forced game chat made it one of the most social multiplayer games of all time, and you can still find people screaming at each other in Search and Destroy now. The maps were excellent. Time to kill was perfect. Gun balance was spot on. I could go on and on about how great it was. It's still very populated on PC through the Plutonium mod. And if you still have your PS3 or Xbox 360, you could probably get a game. Just don't be shocked if you run into modded lobbies everywhere. But in my opinion, this is the best COD multiplayer of all time. And unless there's a massive changeover at Activision with their mindset, I don't think it's ever going to lose the top spot. Modern Call of Duty just can't replicate this kind of pure fun. So there you go. That's my list. I'm sticking to it. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Let me know one Call of Duty title that got ousted by me that should have got in and had a chance but didn't make it. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you soon.